Hi, I'm Benjamin, the UK's most hated sales trainer. So in this series, we have been goggle boxing. I often get approached by people saying, what do you think of this person? What do you think of that technique? Could you take a look at this? So in this series, my producer, Mark of Red Productions, has selected YouTube videos at random, although this one today isn't quite random because we watched one of his videos previously, Mark Wayshack, and I was quite complimentary of that. So this one, again, I've not seen this. This is the first time I'm seeing it. Mark will also be commenting as he sees fit. He's all mic'd up. So we're going to watch one now. This one's called The Truth About Cold Calling and Sales. This will be a first for me. So yeah, and I'll just make comments, and so will Mark. So yeah, enjoy. And any feedback you have, please put it in the comments below. And obviously, don't forget to subscribe to my channel too. Thank you.
Do you make cold calls all the time?
Here's Mark. Still looking slick.
Filling your pipeline chock full of leads? Or let me ask you this. Do you think to yourself, man, I really should be making more cold calls in order to generate more opportunities? Well,
I don't think that. I just know it.
What I can tell you is that the world of cold calling has changed dramatically in the past few years with the introduction of so many new technologies and the fact that
I don't think technology's really changed it. I think it's just weeded out the losers faster.
Dynamic around cold calling. And if you're doing what you did even just a couple of years ago, chances are that's not going to work. In this video, I'm going to show you the truth about cold calling and sales.
The truth!
Check it out.
Here we go.
Number one, quit cold calling. If you
I think we're going to be going down the line of social selling.
Picking up the phone and dialing.
What do you think about social selling?
We'll come on to that. Let's listen to this. That's a whole episode on its own.
We need to be doing so much more than just the traditional old school cold calling that we saw in movies like Glengarry Glen Ross and Boiler Room and all of those things that seemed so compelling.
They're bad.
We all thought to ourselves,
Well, the content, the films are alright, but they're bad. But no, I disagree with this. There's nothing wrong with picking up the phone and trying to phone someone you can sell to.
You need to be mixing in so many different strategies with that call in order to make it effective.
Merging into marketing here.
Use a prospecting campaign. So you may have heard my first tip and thought,
that's no different from traditional cold calling. You had a prospecting campaign. These are a list of companies we think probably need our stuff. Let's phone them. That's called a campaign.
Within a prospecting campaign. So that means using every tool in your arsenal, using every single possible way to
this sounds like avoid the phone.
Things like cold email, LinkedIn messaging or connections, direct mail.
Again, I don't have an issue with using any of these, but what's this got to do with cold calling?
By the time you actually get them on the phone, they're saying, oh yeah, I think I recognize
Oh, he's talking about warming them up, buttering them up, sort of like a fluffer. You don't need to fluff, guys. You just go straight in if you want to. You have to edit that bit out.
Someone is going to have a positive response to whatever it is that you're looking to accomplish. Number three, map out your entire process.
Obviously. I mean, if you're phoning up and you don't know where you're going, why are you there?
They're using email and LinkedIn.
They're
using a couple of different mediums by which they're contacting people.
Still not sure where the truth about cold calling is. I think the truth is don't do it, which I disagree with.
They send out a message today and then they're like, I'll call them tomorrow. Instead, what you want to do is map out every step of the process. So assuming that a prospecting campaign is, let's say, a 6-week process, that means that over the course of 6 weeks, you want to make about 20 touches. Well, what are those touches?
Okay, so this is far more strategic than I recommend. I find it's easier to pick up the phone, and after so many dials, eventually you'll get through. I understand the touch points. I get that. Some people are harder to get hold of. I'm not going to have an argument with that, but I think we're slowly drifting away from the art of picking up the phone into the art of social selling.
This is the person who's been reaching out to me and has been sending me valuable information.
Don't get me wrong. All of this works. I just think the most direct and easiest way is through the phone.
Piece of advice on selling that is both more effective and yet more controversial in the world of selling.
Time for product placement.
If you are making a call, if you are sending an email, whatever it is that you're using to reach out to someone, if you're not following a script or at least a template that maybe you're going to personalize.
I agree with a template, not a script. Scripts.
Format, that process.
Scripts create crutches, and crutches create dependency, and dependency means once the crutch is kicked out from underneath you, you don't know what you're doing.
It's just ludicrous. Imagine watching a movie and the actors are just kind of making up whatever comes to their head. It doesn't make sense.
Well, using any channel to get a hold of someone, gonna work, isn't it? I mean, before the internet, you used the post or leaflets through the door. So, yeah. We've just got a few more strands, but it still doesn't take away from a human talking to a human.
Laid out so you know exactly what you're going to say when you actually get the person on the phone. Number 5, do your homework to personalize. In today's world where prospects are more bombarded by
again, I think this is all unnecessary.
Personalization. By personalizing your outreach,
if you can engage someone in the first 5 seconds on the phone, all of this background stuff is meaningless.
What do you mean by personalised? Because I've heard things like they find out who you like, what teams you like.
Yeah, I know. It becomes a little. Why don't you just say I'm your friendly stalker? Yeah, no. I don't see why you need to personalise it. I don't want someone phoning me. Hey, Benjamin, I see your kid goes to such and such school, and it's like. What is that got to do with this? Oh, yeah, no.
It's terrifying. That.
Or I see you like Arsenal football team. Why is that going to make me want to buy your product or talk to you? It's bollocks. I disagree with this.
Your homework, you are going to be so much more effective than if you.
A lot of homework. See, I'm a salesman and I'm lazy. I don't want to do a lot of homework. What I want to know is what do I need to say to get someone to engage me? That's pretty easy.
Prospectors are making at least
20 touches. Hey.
Before they determine that someone is not going to be a fit or that it doesn't make sense to follow up anymore. Now, 20 touches doesn't mean 20 dials. It means 20 different ways that you're reaching out. So that can mean phone calls, voicemails, emails, LinkedIn messages, letters, stopping in at their office, whatever those different touches are over the course of typically about 6 weeks.
Sounds like badgering. Marketing is another way of putting it. Again, all of this is great, but this is not a salesman's job. This is the marketing department's job. Salesman's job, pick up the phone, have a chat with a human being. All of this is fine. This is something a one-man band like me would have to do. Yeah? But if you're in a company with a marketing team and all of that stuff, why would you be doing any of this? You don't need to. Pick up the phone.
No is very good.
I can't argue with that. No is very good. And remember, in the age of #MeToo, it is ever more important.
That we find so valuable is a negative reply. A no is actually a really good piece of data. Because first of all, one is it allows you to take them out of whatever sequence you have them in or allows you to take them out of your prospecting campaign. But it's also
I know just means call me back.
Feedback along the way around
I'm not ready
what kinds
now.
of people actually are a fit and what aren't a fit. So obviously yes is good, but no is also good. What we want to limit and narrow the field of are the people that we either never hear back from, never get through to, or just kind of never get anywhere with. So we appreciate
that. Same thing said 3 ways, isn't it?
If you pick up the phone and someone tells you to take a hike, this doesn't make any sense, that's great. Or you send them an email and then they reply with not interested, that's great.
Well, no, I disagree with that because it's normally something you've put in the email that's turned them off, or you've said something stupid, or you've talked about you. That's a problem with most salespeople and sales emails. You tend to talk about you. I don't give a toss about you.
This is so key in prospecting.
Of course, I totally agree with that. Always get an agreed, clear, and scheduled next step.
Things that I always hear are things like, "Hey, I had a great call, and they said to get back to me in 2 weeks."
So that's not a great call.
When I did that, I never heard back from them.
Yeah.
Or I had a good call, and then we said, "Okay, well."
See, what do you mean by good call? To me, a good call is a qualified no, good, or an appointment, good. Anything else in between?
Simple thing to change.
Pointless.
All you have to do is just get militant about scheduling clear and scheduled next steps. That's all it is. Using the little calendar invite, whether you're using G Suite,
There's no water in
or
this,
whether
I'm
you're
just
using
doing it for
Outlook, or
fun.
some other system that I don't know of in between. Just use that calendar invite. Make sure that you ask them, hey, do you have your calendar in front of you? Which they always do, and get that clear and scheduled next step. Even if it's checking in for 10 minutes.
Checking in for what?
It's fine. Make sure that it is.
What is this? I don't believe in this, hey, let's keep in touch, pal. I'd rather just get appointments.
And every step with that clear and scheduled next step. Number 9, use Assumptive calendar invites. This is a technique that we've recently started implementing that we really love. And the reason we love it is because it works. When you are prospecting, particularly by email, oftentimes the easiest way to actually get someone to respond is with email. And so let's say you're going back and forth on email and they say, yeah, sure, why don't we set up a call? If you reply with, would Tuesday at 3 p.m. or Friday at 1 p.m. work for you, you have created a step that then requires them to go in their calendar. If they think it works, then they have to reply back to you. And then you're going back and forth. So instead of doing that process, what we do is we use Assumptive calendar invites. So if someone replies to us and says, yeah, this sounds like something interesting, I'd be happy to talk about.
Get to it.
We email them back and we say, George, really appreciate it. How would Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern work for you? I just sent you a calendar invite, and if that time doesn't work, let me know. Otherwise, you can just accept the invite. And what we find is that the response is just people accepting that invite. Done. And now you have the call scheduled in your calendar and in their calendar. Assumptive calendar invites are so powerful. And all it means is that you're sending that calendar invite as the first option. And of course you say,
I mean, it could work. I can't dismiss it. My interest is what are the metrics on the calls that don't take place after that happens. And why I say that is if you haven't got someone bought in 100%,
and if you enjoyed this video, then
but in fact,
awesome free training.
this is the other issue. Why are they having follow-up calls?
Your sales goals.
What's the purpose of this first call? Again, depending on the business you're in, but for most people in the business what I operate, they want to get appointments. They want to get in front of decision makers. I don't see why you need a series of calls to get to there. If you can't do that on the first call, I'd change what you're saying in the first call. I'm not sure why you need to schedule another call. I get the feeling this is so we can send information, then we can have a chat about the information. If you're going down that route, you're elongating the sales process. So yeah, I mean, it could work. The question is how many of those calls actually take place? That's the metric I'd be measuring. Not acceptances, but actual calls that took place. And again though, I don't know why they're having this follow-up call. I mean, it's not Tinder, is it? I mean, I don't know.
So what's your mark out of 10 at the end of all that?
There's some good stuff in there, but there's a lot I don't agree with because a lot of it I don't think is a salesman's job. Yes, we got all the tools to use, LinkedIn and all of this, but this sounds more like become a sales marketer than a sales prospector. And like I said, I use all those tools, but I also know that speaking to someone on the phone is best. And if you're going to spend any time, it should be picking up the phone. So I'm going to give it 6 out of 10. He's gone from 9. This is good. I didn't want to find someone I liked. That would be, well, I just wouldn't feel special. Anyway, so that's the end of that one. I don't know if you enjoyed that. But yeah, so that was Mark Wayshack, The Truth About Cold Calling and Sales. I think it drifted a bit. I think the title's a bit misleading because I'm not really sure what truth came out of that.